Mark chapter 5, verse 1. And they came over unto the other side of the sea, into the country of the Gadarenes. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit.
Right. All right, so now we talk about a man with an unclean spirit, right? You hear people who always talk about vibrations and things like that and energies. Well, the Bible refers to them as spirits, right? So that's all talking about the same thing. You just got to know how to piece the puzzle together, because Babylon is the land of confusion. So they got you thinking one thing when it's really another. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing but confusion. That's why we have damn trannies walking up dressed like women. That's a whole man. You know what I'm saying? But they going in the women's bathroom. You know, all these sick things that Babylon's done promoted, man. Right?
Verse 3. Who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him. No, not with chains.
Right. So, all right, so this man with the unclean spirits, it says that no man was able to bind him. You know what I mean? You know how strong men could get. You know what I mean? With strong individuals out here. But it said that no man was able to bind him because he had some type of unclean spirits on him.
Right. You know? Because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces, neither could any man tame him. And always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones.
Right. All right. We all remember when that bath salts was going on, right? And you know what I'm saying? These people that was taking the bath salts, they became susceptible to extreme strength, right? The cops wasn't able to shoot them down. You know, you caught them on the news in Florida and shit like that. Eating people's intestines out, some wild stuff, because they had unclean spirits on them. There was a certain vibration on them, right? You know?
But when he saw Yahushua afar off, he ran and worshipped him.
Right. So what did he do?
He ran and worshipped him.
So he knew who he was, man. He knew he was a true son of God. Right? He ran and worshipped him. This man with unclean spirits, and it wasn't the man himself, but it was rather the spirits that was inside him.
And cried with a loud voice and said, what have I to do with thee, Yahushua, thou son of the Most High, Yahweh?
What?
The son of the Most High, Yahweh. I adore thee by Yahweh, that thou torment me not. For he said unto him, come out of that man. So
he said, now this is talking about an exorcism. We see it on the movies, how these Catholic freaks, you know what I'm saying, claim that they perform an exorcism and all of that, you know what I'm saying, but they're not able to do that in reality, man, because only the disciples, only the Israelites are able to do that, man. Right? Real exorcism. You know what I'm saying? They put more spirits on them. You got these Catholic freaks touching little boys, hundreds of thousands, you know what I'm saying? We always hear about it on the news, right? Only the Israelites. And when you go into the word, like, for instance, judge, right? Judge just means Israelite. So who is these people, these so-called white men in black robes trying to judge us, man? To hell with them. We're the rulers of the earth, man. Right? And we're supposed to be able to have everything up under our feet because we were supposed to rule the earth. You know?
Thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, what is thy name?
Right. So now Yahushua is asking the spirit within the side of the man, what is thy name? Right?
And he answered, saying, my name is Legion, for we are many. For we are many.
We are many. There's a lot of different spirits up in this man. He probably got a spirit of lust, you know what I'm saying, the spirit of murder, all these different spirits up in this man. And when you go into it, like I said, vibrations, right? Certain music brings out certain type of energy inside of a man. You know what I'm saying? They could be listening to Boozy, you know what I'm saying? And then now they want to do the things that Boozy's talking about because there's a certain vibration or energy or spirit that is bringing about.
Right. And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now there was that night unto the mountains a great herd of swine feeding. And all the devils besought him, saying,
oh, it's a lot. So there was a herd of swine feeding near where this is going on now, right? You know? An unclean animal. Things that were not supposed to be eaten nor touching. Right?
And all the devils besought him, saying, send us into the swine, that we may enter into them.
So these spirits know off the rip that swine is an unclean thing. Now remember, in the beginning it said that there's a bunch of unclean spirits upon this man, so these unclean spirits are trying to go upon something that's unclean. So when you subject your vessel to unclean things, you know, now you're subjected to all type of different unclean spirits or energies or vibrations, how they try to refer to them. But we know what they are, man. Right?
And forthwith Yahushua gave them leave, and the unclean spirits went out and entered into the swine.
All right. So Yahushua basically just cast these spirits out, and he said they entered into the swine. Right? You know?
Salakia. And entered into the swine, and the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. They were about 2,000 and were choked in the sea. And they that fed the swine fled and told it in the city and in the country. And they went out to see what it was that was done.
They said, so everyone that seen it around there, you know what I'm saying, the herders, they see that, they was like, oh damn, like, you know what I'm saying, the spirits just got cast up out of this man that nobody could restrain into the pigs. And now they done jumped off the cliff and drowned in the seas, man. Right? And now that's you gotta understand the magnitude of that. You don't realize if you see something like that really happen, man, y'all probably would faint. You know what I'm saying? Like a real exorcism, you know what I'm saying? Not according to these movies and all of that. But you know what I'm saying? But now Babylon, we know, has a lot of different unclean spirits. So a lot of these people need exorcisms on a small, lower level to get these unclean things up off of them. And that's, you know, from hearing the words of the Most High and ultimately being in the midst of his servants. You know?
And they come to Yahushua and see him that was possessed with the devil, and had the legion sitting and clothed and in his right mind, and they were afraid.
All right, so now they refer to this thing like as a type of mental health in today's society. You know, they say ADHD or all these other things, right? They refer to it as mental health, schizophrenia. Well, really, in reality, according to scripturally, these are unclean spirits upon these people, right? You know, taking them over now. Now we see this on this type of level. Like now, these people with the mental health, you know, some might hear a certain noise that trigger them, and now they turn super strong. You know what I'm saying? We see this. I've seen this in school. You know what I mean? These are real things.
And they that saw it told them how it befell to him that was possessed with the devil, and also concerning the swine. And they began to pray to him, Salakia, and they began to pray him to depart out of their coasts. And when he was come into the ship, he had them possessed with the devil, prayed him that he might be with him. Howbeit, Yahushua suffered him not, but saying to him, go home to thy friends, and tell them how great things the Lord, the Mashiach, had done for thee, and have had compassion on thee.
So he had compassion on this man and cast out all his unclean spirits that no one was able to tame this man, right? Give me Revelation chapter 18, start with verse 1, and then give me the book of Acts chapter 19, dog. Right? We're talking about these unclean spirits. These unclean spirits are roaming around today, man. That's why you get a bunch of trannies and a bunch of weirdos and freaks all around here. A bunch of pedophiles, unclean spirits on them. What man in the right mind is going to want to do all these weird ass things that they doing nowadays, right?
18 and 1, 15 and 1.
Revelation 18 and 1.
Revelation chapter 18 verse 1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen.
So Babylon has to fall, right? You know?
It's fallen, and it's become the habitation of devils.
It's become the habitation of what?
Devils. And the hold of every foul spirit.
It has the hold of every foul spirit in it, man. You know, all kind of spirits in today's world, but it's not operating in a spirit that the Most High will have, right? So instead of the fruits of the spirit, you're operating in a bad manner, right?
And the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
19.
I'm in the book of Acts, chapter 19 and verse 8. And he went into the synagogue and spake boldly for the space of 3 months, disputing and persuading the things concerning the kingdom of God. But when divers were hardened and believed not, but spake evil of that way before the multitude, he departed from them and separated the disciples, disputing daily in the school of one Tyrannus. And this continued by the space of 2 years, so that all they which dwelt in Asia heard the word of the Lord, Yahushai, both Jews and Greeks.
So he was speaking ultimately, you know what I'm saying, for everyone to hear, right? But it wasn't for everyone to understand. But he still spoke outwardly, like how we were doing, right?
Then certain of the vagabond Jews, exorcists, took them to...
What did I say? Read that slow.
Then certain of the vagabond Jews, exorcists...
It says exorcist. Exorcist. This was in the scriptures, right? You know?
took upon them to call over them which had evil spirits the name of the Lord Yahushai, saying,
oh, so now we're saying what they're doing. Now they want to, do the things that Hamashiach was doing, right? So these vagabond Jews call themselves exorcists, was taking upon people that had unclean spirits on them, right? People that had so-called mental health on them, right?
We adjure you by Yahushai, whom Paul preacheth. And there were 7 sons of one Sykavan, a Jew, and chief of the priests, which did so.
So now this man, we're saying that he did so, one of the 7 sons did.
And the evil spirit answered and said, Yahushai I knew, and Paul I know.
So now it's saying the evil spirit answered. He didn't say this man. He said the evil spirit answered and said, Yahushai I knew, and Paul I knew. Right? So these spirits know who's the disciples of Hamashiach.
Right. But who are you?
Now he said, but who are you? I don't know who you are. He's questioning his energy. Right? But he said, but who are you?
And the man in whom the evil spirit was leaped on them and overcame them.
So in the man in whom the evil spirit was, it says leaped on them and overcame them. So this man then jumped on them,
and prevailed against them.
And prevailed against them, beating her ass.
So that they fled out of the house naked and wounded.
He fled out of the house what?
Naked and wounded. And this was known to all the Jews and Greeks also dwelling at Ephesus, and fear fell on them all. And the name of the Lord Yahushai was magnified.
So that just shows you right there, man, who these spirits know who it is in these last days, who's the disciples of the Hamashiach. Get Mark 9. Give me the book of Mark, chapter 9. What am I looking for?
Death and the dumb spirits came out?
Yeah.
Verse 14.
Yeah, come on.
I'm in the book of Mark, chapter 9 and verse 14. And when he came to the disciples, he saw a great multitude about them, and the scribes questioned with them. And straightway all the people, when they beheld him, were greatly amazed, and running to him, saluted him. And he asked the scribes, what question ye within? And one of the multitude answered and said, Master, I have brought unto thee my son, which have a dumb spirit.
Which have a dumb spirit.
Right.
That's what we call in terms, like all these things that we're seeing in the scriptures is some type of mental health or disability that's on, right? But it's in the form of a spirit, right? So this spirit is having these people act or operate a certain way, right?
And wheresoever he taketh him, he teareth him. And he foameth and gnasheth with his teeth and pinneth away. And I spake to the disciples,
if you walking down the street and you see someone foaming at the mouth and gnashing their teeth, just not in the right state of mind, you already know something's wrong with them, right? But you really can't pinpoint that, or they'll say it's some type of mental disability, right? But how are we getting these mental disabilities upon us and different evil spirits? It's devil's crafty, from entertainment to the music industry and things like that, to even all the way down to these shots that they're giving people, right?
And I spake to the disciples, and that they should cast him out, and they could not.
So now we're seeing the disciples couldn't cast out this specific spirit. Why not, though?
And he answered them and said, O faithless generation.
He said, "O faithless generation,
how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him unto me."
So now Yahushua is calling them a faithless generation. He said, basically, bring this man unto me. You know what I'm saying? So I can cast these spirits out.
And they brought him unto him, and when he saw him, straightway the spirit tear him, and he fell on the ground and wallowed foaming. And he asked his father, How long is it ago since this came unto him? And he said, Of a child.
So he had the spirit on him since of a child,
And oft times it hath cast him into the fire and into the waters to destroy him. But if thou canst...
So we see that this spirit that's upon the man is trying to destroy this man. It says oft times. That's many different times, right? So you see people nowadays, they taking their own lives and things like that. That's a different type of spirit upon them, a perverse, wicked spirit on them, man. Because once again, no one in their right state of mind will ever want to take their life,
Canst do anything, have compassion on us and help us. Yahushua said unto him, If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. And straightway the father of the child cried out and said with tears, Lord, I believe. Help thou mine unbelief. When Yahushua saw that the people came running together, he rebuked the foul spirit, saying unto him, Thou dumb and deaf spirit, I charge thee, come out of him and enter no more into him.
This is exorcism in the Bible, man. That's where these Catholic freaks get this from, right? But they can't perform this, man. They got a bunch of unclean spirits on them, right?
My full name with the K, K-R-I-S. Wilson. And the spirit cried and rent him sore and cast out of him. And he was as one dead, insomuch that they may said, He is dead.
So now they thought this man was dead, right?
And the spirit, but Yahushua took him by the hand and lifted him up, and he arose. And when he come into the house, his disciples asked him privately, Why could not we cast him out?
So now the disciples is wondering, why couldn't we cast this unclean spirit out of the man, right? What's his reply?
And he said unto them, This kind come forth by nothing but prayer and fasting.
By prayer and fasting, man. So prayer and fasting is important. Afflicting our souls is important. You're on fast, you know what I'm saying, with only you and the Most High able to see what you're doing, and you're not twisting your face around, saying, I haven't eaten in hours. That's only for you and the Most High, but these unclean spirits can come out by prayer and fasting. Right? Got it on that? So now he said what? He had that spirit since a child, right? Give me, what is that? 1st or 2nd Corinthians 2 and 11? Now, I say all that to say, like, these different shots is given our sons and daughters different elements or different things or different unclean spirits, because their witchcraft that they're whipping up is for these things, right? That's why you get different drugs like meth or things like that alters your mind in a certain way.
1 Corinthians